It's Friday, time for another weekly update. 19 years ago today, I remember waking up in a hotel room in Houston, Texas, getting ready to hit the gym and then head to the Compact Center for a taping of WWE SmackDown that evening. When I turned on the TV, like people all around the country, really all around the world, I watched in horror as the screen showed images of planes slamming into the World Trade Center Twin Towers. As events unfolded, confusion dominated everything. No one really knew what was going on other than what happened was not an accident, but a massive terrorist attack. By that evening, we had learned that not only had New York City been attacked and the Twin Towers collapsed, but the Pentagon had also been hit. It appeared that another plane was headed towards the Capitol, but thanks to the courageous actions of passengers, that plane had crashed near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Thousands of people had been killed. We all saw footage of brave first responders running towards the Twin Towers, many of them never to return. Rumors of more attacks filled the airwaves. Overnight, the country was placed on war footing. Everyone was afraid, not only because of what we knew for certain, but even more so because of what we didn't. It was almost like September 10th, 2001 was the end of one scene in our nation's history, and the very next day was the start of a completely different one that we had no experience with, one that had none of the familiar touchstones that we relied on. One that was completely different, and one in which the future was precarious and filled with angst. 9/11 left a scar on our nation, not only from the personal tragedy of the lives lost, it was also a blow to our national spirit. But for a short time, it also brought the country together in a way that none of us have witnessed before or since. The grief, the loss, reminded us that life is unpredictable and it is precious. It reminded us that for all of our differences, we are all human beings and we are all Americans, and that we had all been attacked. Sadly, as the nation healed, that unity faded away. On a public policy level, I learned a very important lesson in the government's reaction to 9/11. Immediately after the attack, there was a massive buildup and mobilization among the American intelligence community, something that alarmed civil libertarians and privacy advocates. Unfortunately, their warnings went unheeded. In the fear and uncertainty surrounding 9/11 and its aftermath, civil liberties and constitutional protections became niceties, not necessities. You either didn't understand how serious the situation was, or worse, you were with the terrorists. Later, mostly because of the revelations of Edward Snowden, we would learn that there was indeed cause for concern. The federal government was indiscriminately gathering and storing massive amounts of data on all of us, not just criminals or terrorists, but every single American. It was the most massive, widespread, and egregious violation of the Fourth Amendment in our nation's history. It's true. Politicians never let a crisis go to waste. None of that, however, changes what happened on that terrible day, the worst day in our country's history, at least since I've been alive. 9/11 changed our country. It changed me. We should never forget the events of that day, the victims who lost their lives, and the heroes who acted so gallantly. By the way, on September 13th, 2001, that WWE SmackDown event that I had been preparing for 2 days before was broadcast live around the world. We were the first mass public assembly to take place after 9/11. The show is a tribute to the lives lost on 9/11, to the resiliency of America, And it was a statement of defiance to those that would harm this great nation. It was the proudest moment of my WWE career. This week, we also mourn the passing of Judge Pamela Reeves. In 2019, Judge Reeves became the first woman chief judge of the U.S. District Court, Eastern District of Tennessee. Her husband is the City of Knoxville's law director, Charles Swanson. Judge Reeves had a remarkable career in the law and in public service. She was a trailblazer, and she will be missed. Now, 2020 has certainly been a unique year. So it should come as no surprise that a plane landed on the interstate running out of gas in Knoxville. The Knoxville Police Department reported no injuries or damage after the small plane ran out of gas and was forced to make an emergency landing on I-640 near the former Knoxville Center Mall. The plane was refueled and then took off from the runway again. And finally, because it's 2020, there's no surprise that there is a tiger on the loose near Knoxville. Yes, I said a tiger. Authorities continue their search after a tiger was spotted roaming in the wilderness outside of Knoxville. The Knox County Sheriff's Office issued a bolo late Wednesday after a deputy reported seeing a tiger wandering in the forks of the River Industrial Park. It is unclear where the tiger originally escaped from. Agencies involved include the Knox County Sheriff's Office, Animal Control, Air Watch, the Knoxville Police Department Animal Control, and Tiger Haven, a big cat sanctuary in Kingston, Tennessee. It's important to note that all tiger sightings are unconfirmed until the tiger is actually found. An internet joke says that once they find the tiger, they should release it in the Smokies so that it can mate or cross with a bear to make an animal that would be half bear, the other half cat. I'm not sure what such an animal would be called, but it would be wild as a mink and sweet as soda pop, and I still dream about that. Until next Friday, I hope everyone has a great week.